Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to Eagles Talk. Wow, exciting first week. We are 1-0, undefeated amongst the many undefeated right now after 1 week, but we are one of them. The Eagles had a very exciting win over the Washington team last week down in D.C. And we were there post-game live at my man Mark Harper's NFL kickoff cookout, and it was a very enjoyable time. And for everyone out there, let me just put down the housekeeping rules before we get into it. If you are willing enough to have a goofy bunch of guys come out to your home and you host our Eagles Talk post-game live show, you will be in for a very, very enjoyable time. We had a very enjoyable time, and we're looking for people to host the show. We like to come live on location. So if you are willing to do that, just drop me an email at Dante@EaglesTalk.com. Again, that's Dante@EaglesTalk.com. And if you want to continue to see these wonderful programs, go to our Facebook page, because we do our post-game live on Facebook Live. So we're like a Facebook Live TV show. You can also see the replay on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. But, so go to our page, Eagles Talk, on Facebook, and like the page. We need as many likes as we can get. And also go to our YouTube channel, Eagles Talk, and subscribe if you want to see all the content that we put out there. So do those two things. But getting back to this week's game, what an exciting game, 30-17. And I'm just so full of emotion. I want to bring my co-hosts in right now. The Sandlin boys, Shelman, Patrick. How's it going, Shel?
I'm going very well, man. Very enjoyable week.
Very enjoyable. How about yourself, Pat?
Yeah, it's going great, man. It's just when the Eagles win, it makes your week much easier.
Man, was that a good game or what? Was that an exciting game? I mean, it was like a thriller movie. I mean, we had every emotion. We were up. We were down. We were sad. We were happy again. It was everything. It was everything rolled up into that game. I mean, we started off. We got a quick score off of the incredible play by Carson Wentz, where he scrambles, eludes the defenders, does his Wentz-Dini act, and get out of pressure and hits Nelson Aguilar for a 58-yard touchdown. That was a very exciting play to open up the game, and we were very excited about that. The defense came to play, man. It was just an incredible game. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on just what was key in that game to that win. Shelman, starting with you.
Key factor was actually the play calling by the head coach. He called plays, and Wentz made it happen. The very explosive Nelson Aguilar.
Shel, you can see my face.
Incredible passes.
We're doing video chat. You see my face? What are you talking about, Shel? Play call. I'm gonna let you finish, because I had a little problem with that play calling. But go ahead, finish.
Like I said, the very explosive Nelson Aguilar played prolifically, and the defense held it down. The defense is, I think the defense is ready to make the next step, man. I think we're top 3 defense in the NFL at this point.
I agree. I definitely agree. And my bold prediction was that we were going to be a top 10 defense, and if we hold up, if that was any indication of what this retooled Schwartz defense is going to be like for the remainder of the season, barring injury, then it's going to be very impressive, because the D came to play. I've watched the game multiple times, and that line was ferocious. And now, if there was any play calling that I did like, it was Jim Schwartz's play calling. That was excellent. Yeah. I mean, he dialed up the blitzes right on time, and the front four, even when the blitz wasn't dialed up, they were wrecking havoc, and they at no time could Kirk Cousins feel comfortable. He couldn't have, because they was giving them all he could handle, and that was the key to defeating the Kirk Cousins that's been killing us the last 5 games. I told you, he looks like Joe Montana. But Pat, what do you think was some of the keys to that impressive win last week?
I'm going right there with what you said. Defense, the pressure, and the turnovers. I mean, that was key. If you look at it during the course of the game, we did blitz. We blitzed 29% of the time during the game, and the pressure alone, fair because his hand. I mean, he forced them to throw an interception when they was right there on the goal line. Come on now. You know, he sealed the game. He sealed the game with great defensive pressure from Brandon Graham and a great scoop and score by Fletcher Cox. I mean, defense wins games. Defense wins championships. And, I mean, even though the offense, I said the offense still needs some time to develop that chemistry it needs and the play calling. I'm not going to talk about the play calling. But the defense looked well ahead of the offense, and they looked outstanding this past Sunday.
Well, you know me. I don't care. I don't bite my tongue. I'm going to talk about the play call. I'm going to talk about it because that was, I mean, we won, and I don't want to, I want to stay on a high. I do want to stay on a high. So maybe I'll just take it down a little bit. But the play calling left a little to be desired. And I guess I'm just a regular, average Eagles fan. Even in the midst of a great win, 1-0, going down to a division rival who's beaten us 5 times and getting the win out of that, I can still find some fault in it. But I wasn't impressed with his play calling. I thought he could have done a little bit, had a more balanced attack, and I think we're going to definitely need that in this upcoming game against Kansas City. We're going to need to run the ball a little bit more than what we did. And I know he did he did what the defense gave him, but I don't think I think he abandoned the run too early in the game. And I think going forward that we're going to need that balance, and we're going to need to kind of keep them honest, like you said in our post-game show, Pat, keep them honest by running the ball. But we don't just want to keep them honest. We want to be effective in running the ball. So this takes me to the offensive line. I give our overall grade, I'll give them a B- because it was a win. But there were certain aspects of the offense that got lower grades than that, and that would have to be the offensive line. They didn't get the push. They didn't, Wentz had his best plays when he was under duress, which means that, the play broke down. The offensive line just, couldn't hold up that long. There was no running lanes really all day. So the offensive line has got to pick it up this week. What do you say, Shell? There's Shell there. There's Pat there.
I couldn't hear you last.
Oh, I said I was talking about the offensive line. I didn't think they had a particularly great game. I would have gave them probably a C- just because we won the game. But what do you think about?
Yeah, you got to remember that Peters pulled his groin, so he wasn't in. He was only in like maybe 25-30% of the game. Period. He wasn't in. We put Big V in there at the tackle and slid the other guy over, so he wasn't getting the protection that he probably normally would have got. So I think we should be fine this week. Peters practiced Tuesday. He went through full walkthroughs on Wednesday, and they said he went to treatment. He went to treatment yesterday, so he's going to be playing in the game this week. So I fully think our line should be capable against Andy Reid this week. It's Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, the master against the teacher. That's what this is going to be.
I like that. So, Pat, what do you think about the O-line? I mean, I think let me just touch on this before you go to the O-line. I think 22 points. The offense did score 22 points. That's not bad, right? I shouldn't be complaining, Pat. Right? I shouldn't. We scored 22 points. But yet it felt like we left some points on the table there. I mean, there was a couple plays there that were, Wentz wasn't completely on. How about the opening long pass to Torrey Smith? He had him beat. That wasn't a good throw right there, right? That was that wasn't a particularly good throw to Torrey Smith. Although we did score that drive, so I guess that's negated. There was another long throw to Torrey Smith in the second half, I believe. That was a little off, and he was open. He had his man beat. And then there was that backwards pass. We always talk about that. That wasn't the greatest pass. But, 22 points is good, right? So I shouldn't be complaining. But what do you think, Pat?
Well, going back to look at it with all 22, believe it or not, Carson Wentz, they gave Carson Wentz a good pocket for him to get the ball out of his hands. The thing about our quarterback is that he tends to hold on to the ball longer than he should. And this when you get those scramble plays, which is not always bad, but it's not always good. And a lot of our pressures came after, the ball should have been out of his hands. The first play to start the game, which was a play action pass, he was a second late on that throw. After he had the play action pass, that middle safety was already driving down on Alshon Jeffrey. That ball should have been gone 1 second after he did the play action fact. Because Torrey Smith he had Josh Norman stem, and he had the whole middle of the field wide open for the ball to be put. And I mean, that's like I said, that goes back to the chemistry and the timing, and that has to be developed with the offense. When Big V came in there, he did give up a sack, but after that, he got, he settled down, and he started to actually, do something at that left tackle position. So all the blame cannot be put on the offensive line, because there was times where he had time to pass for him. There was rushing lanes. Believe it or not, there are rushing lanes that if we had maybe a quicker back, like a Corey Clement, we could at least got 4 or 5 yards. We left a lot to be desired on the offensive side of the ball, and if I know they looked at the same tape I prior looked at, or they got the NFL tape, so they gotta they can stop it, wind it, whatever they need to do. But at the same time, I mean, they see what they need to improve on. It was one play, the one pass that was complete to Torrey Smith for I believe it was like a 23-yard gain or something like that. If he would have just looked to his right, Darren Sproles was going down the sideline wide open.
Right.
I mean, that's just the chemistry. That's film study, and that's just Carson Wentz being more into his reads. That takes time. That is not going to happen the first game in his second season.
All right. I understand that, and I don't want to be humdrum. I want to get back on the bandwagon, because me, and I'm not waiting to the third game of the season. We're going to the playoffs. It's Dante the Dark Knight. Yeah, Dante the Dark Knight, the average Eagles fan, and that's the joke. I meet a lot of, non-Eagles fans, and they're like, you guys, you're always going to the playoffs after the first game. And yeah, we're going to the playoffs. I don't care. I'm saying it now. For all my Eagles Nation, they're down with me. Everybody out there, I know you guys are going to keep me level-headed, but that was a great game. I mean, that defense, barring injury, that's a top 3 defense we saw. It's a top 3 defense. I love it. I know everybody, all my peers, and you have to keep it objective and things like. I'm a homer. I'm not going to deny it. I'm a homer. That looked great. We're going to, and I think that the good things about it. I don't have the numbers because I don't have my glasses, but he performed well. Carson Wentz, I'm talking about. He performed extremely well on third down on Sunday. Extremely well. We used to have problems. Well, not used to. We had problems converting third downs last year, and last week it was phenomenal. The third downs that they converted, and they were usually third and long, which is not good because that means we didn't pick up much yardage on first or seconds down. But it was encouraging to see that Carson Wentz, he did his best work when we needed it the most, and that was on third down. So that was great. He also had outstanding numbers for when he was under duress. He performed, his quarterback rating went up when he was out of the pocket, when he was in duress and pressured, which is also that it factor that I talk about with this guy. And and that the thing that I think that makes him a special quarterback, a franchise quarterback, he has the athletic tools, he has the smart, so to speak, but it's that it factor, that elusiveness that really separates him or puts him on a different level. And I'm glad and grateful that we have him on our side. Man, let me just go back. We have to talk about that last play because I'm hearing from a lot of Deadskin fans that we only won because of that bad call at the end. And I must admit that was very, very questionable. I was shocked myself when they actually gave us the touchdown. But make no mistake, at that point of the game, our defensive line was eating. They were eating at that point. They were hungry, and it was all kind of pressure. I mean, it's evidenced by them meeting Brandon Graham, who had an excellent game, and Fletcher Cox meeting at Cousins during that turnover. They were very, very aggressive during that point of the game, and I doubt, and we can't go back. There's no what ifs here. We can't go back, but I doubt they would have scored. Even if there was not a turnover, the way the defense was playing at that point, I doubt if they would have scored. I was feeling confident. And this is one play call that I do appreciate from Dougie P., and that was going for the field goal and having the trust in the defense late in the game. Because, they were getting ready to go for it, and they didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and they kicked the field goal and allowed the defense to come out and to save the game, and save the game they did. So that part of his play calling, I'll give him kudos for. This week, though, we got a tough test coming up this week, man. And, and I'm rah-rah. I'm all for it. I'm a rah-rah guy. But this one is going to be tough. I know we're facing, like you said, Shell, we're facing our old head coach Steers, the student versus the teacher. And the teacher's pretty good, and he got a pretty good
Darth Vader's versus Luke
he got
Skywalker.
a pretty good lightsaber down there. Let me say that. He got a pretty good lightsaber down there, man. And it's going to be tough going into Arrowhead Stadium, where I think they've averaged like just over 2 losses a year since Andy's been there. So they don't lose much down in Arrowhead. And after you see the beating that they put on New England, they are something to be a little worried about. What do you guys think about this matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs? Pat, what do you think? What do we have to do to get past these guys?
We just have to be consistent in everything that we do on offense and defense. I mean, this is almost the same situation we put in last year when we went against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We had no shot to beat the Steelers. And, by the end of that game, they just consider us, for a contender to come out the NFC East. I mean,
same thing's going to happen. Same thing's going to happen. Go ahead.
We just got to be consistent. A lot of times these type of games are overlooked type games because it's not in your division. And for, the Chiefs, they have another division game after they play us. So this may be a game where they overlook us and we might sneak one by them. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll go up there and just play our game and do what we need to do to win the game. They are missing one of the best safeties in the league, Eric Berry. He's gone for the season. We just have to be very efficient in everything that we do. We cannot make any mistakes because when we make mistakes, especially with Andy Reid, he had all this time off to, he just does great things when he has more time off to game plan for a team.
Yes, he's very tough to beat when he has time to game plan. His record after a bye week is phenomenal. And although last week wasn't a bye week, they had 4 extra days, being as though they played on a Thursday night. So it's an extended week for them, and he always fares well in that situation. Shell, tell me, what do we have to do? What does Jim Schwartz have to do to prepare for this dynamic offense that they had on display? I mean, we got Tyreek Hill, probably the fastest receiver in the NFL now, and Kareem Hunt, who put on a show himself, 146 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown and 95 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. This guy's a weapon. Tyreek Hill, 133 yards receiving last. They're explosive players. They reminded me of Shady and Deshaun. He has Shady 2.0 and Deshaun Jackson 2.0 down there. What does Jim Schwartz have to do?
what I would do as a defensive coordinator, I would take away two of the threats. I would take away the tight end and take away Hill. I would let the running back basically let them run the ball because they can't hurt you too much running the ball as long as your linebackers come downhill and make plays.
Wait a minute.
Now, if you try to put a safety in the box, or you try to do what they call quarters coverage, now you're putting yourself in a bad situation. If somebody misses assignment, if somebody's not in their zone, now you're going to get burnt. I would definitely take away the tight end and take away the receiver on the outside, and basically just have it a ground and pound game.
All right. So what you're saying when you say allow them to run, I just want our viewers to be clear on this. He's not saying that he's going to part the Red Sea and let them run. He means you're not going to put a man in a box. You're right.
I'm not bringing that safety down.
You're not bringing that safety
exactly.
down. Okay. All right. I just wanted to get it.
In layman's terms, I'm not going to put 7-8 men in the box to stop the run. I know they're going to run the ball. I know he's one of the top rookies in the league.
Right. Okay. I got you.
I'd rather let them run the ball, be able to run the ball, than them to be able to go over the top and throw a ball deep.
Well, this guy, he has game-breaking speed and ability here, so we can't allow him to run too much. But I get your philosophy there.
There's no reason to bring our number one safety down inside and then have something go over top. It's unnecessary.
All right,
and then you still have to worry about the tight end. You still have to worry about him.
Travis Kelce is a problem, and Andy Reid pulled
out is a problem.
A lot of
he's
tricks.
Breaking out one of the premier tight ends in the NFL, and like I said, it's a three-headed monster at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to let Kelce beat me. I'm not going to let Hill beat me.
All right.
I'd rather let the game be determined by the run game and let my linebackers make plays.
All right. Well, we're gonna see just how Jim Schwartz tackles that. Speaking of which, last week, the stories broke that he was posturing behind the scenes to usurp control over the control over the team from Peterson. He has spoken this week and he dispelled that, but I don't know how strongly he dispelled it. I heard him talk and I mean, he did, he didn't deny that there's any problems between him and Peterson, but he didn't emphatically. All right. He did deny it. He probably just did not use the words that we probably wanted to hear, where he just put his foot down and just said, no, this is not what I'm here to do. He kind of spoke and said, I'm here to do what Doug asked me to do, but he didn't speak directly to no, that's not what I'm trying to do. But, with that aside, I bring that up to say, last week the team played for Dougie P amidst that story. And this week there was, his response. And Dougie P's response was was he likes Schwartz's attitude. And he doesn't want him to change that. And you know what? I thought it was interesting that he said that most defensive coordinators that he's worked with have that same type of swagger, and it works for them. And I would have to agree a little bit. I mean, if we look at some of our best D coordinators, the best defenses we've had in the Eagles, they've all had that swagger. Even Jim Johnson. I mean, you might think he was a quiet, mellow guy. He was just an older guy. But, I've heard stories from ex-players on how he was tough on them and very, just tough. He had that swag with the defense. And then we all know Buddy's swag. Buddy had that swag also. So, I agree that is a trait of great defensive coordinators. And usually when we have them, we have great defenses. So I guess in that sense, I'm glad Jim Schwartz is who he is. And, I did speak last week saying that, when he was first hired, I thought that would be great because if Dougie P messed up, we have a head coach already on the coaching staff. But all right, I'm not rooting against Dougie P. I'm rooting for Dougie P, and I hope that the team continues to play for him this week, and any remnants of that story can give them the motivation that they need to come out and perform well against the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe, I don't know what the defense can do. They did a great job. But I know, I'm going to ask you, Pat, what does this offense have to do to bring home a win Sunday?
Again, it goes back to the thing I said earlier. It had to be consistent in everything they do. So that means when you hit the hole, hit the hole. Don't hesitate. When you have a route where the wide receiver is stemming a corner and you have wide open field to the left of them,
just
right
a sec. Let me just
them.
interrupt you for just a second. If anybody changed any of their audio settings to speaker or something like that, change it back because I hear feedback right now, and it wasn't that way. So if anybody did anything with their audio, kind of, if you turn this volume up or anything like that, kind of put it back down because I was hearing some feedback. All right, Pat, I'm sorry. Go back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hear the feedback too myself.
All right. So go ahead.
Like I
finish your
said,
thought. Yeah.
it goes back to the consistency. You got to be consistent in everything that you do. If the play is designed for you to block this receiver and for it to be that same play that we hated last week that was a fumble, make the play. We need Carson Wentz to be sharp. You gotta hit him in stride and not hit him, with a pass for somebody 6'4". You gotta be consistent in everything that you do this week. You cannot have a lapse at any point in time, because if you do, you're gonna get beat over top by Tyreek Hill. You're gonna get beat over the middle by Kelsey. You're gonna get leave a gap open for Hunt. Then you're gonna have their pass rushers who are some of the top pass rushers in the league. They're going to dominate. We can't have it. We have to be consistent. We have to keep our foot on the pedal, especially if we're up by 2 touchdowns. We have to keep our foot on that pedal. We have to keep going for the juggler. And that's the thing I want Doug Peterson to really understand, is that when you're up, you should never throttle down. Well, it's not your job to not score. It's their job to stop you.
Right.
When you're in between those lines, it's their job to stop you, regardless of what the score. It could be 51-3. They have a job to do, and your offense has a job to do. So if you score another touchdown, that's their fault. I mean, their job is to stop you. Your job is to score. So Doug Peterson needs to.
I'm sorry, it's only one job Dougie P has to do as an Eagles fan. We all think alike. Your job is to kick ass. That's what your job is.
Yeah.
I'm going to get more simple than that. It's to kick the other team ass so we can celebrate and we can be the Eagles fans, obnoxious as we may be sometimes, that we love to be. So Dougie P, go out there and give it to him. I heard your press conference. He said it. He said he's going to try to kick my ass. He said tail. Okay, I'm using ass. All right. He's going to try to kick my tail, and I'm going to try to kick his. So we're praying that Dougie P is more victorious. I see, here's 2 keys I see. I see, number one, we have to have better offensive line play. That covers a multitude of things. That gives Carson Wentz the time to find his receivers, gives him time to go through his progressions. Number two, hopefully, with the better O-line play, we establish a running game, because we're going to need that. They have a ferocious pass rush. So we're going to need to keep them honest with a nice running game. We need 100 yards at least. We need 100 yards. So I don't care, in what combination we have to use to get it. We need 100 yards. So please stay consistent with the run game. Offensive line, play better. Number 2, and these are the only 2 I got. Number 2, we cannot give up. The DBs, our secondaries, cannot give up big plays. We cannot do it. They have what? They have a 3-headed monster, like you said, and all of them can be dangerous receiving the ball. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt out of the backfield. So our DBs, and this is going to be a true test for them, because Ron Darby is hurt, and they did a great job in his absence last week. But they were not facing the speed of Tyreek Hill. That's going to be a different aspect. come Sunday. We're going to see
Yeah, definitely.
just how well they're going to hold up. I don't even know. Jim Schwartz wouldn't tip his hand on who's going to actually take his place. We saw Patrick Robinson move to the outside initially in the Washington game, but in the second half, they kind of moved him back to slot, and they brought Jalen Watkins to play the outside. Now, Jalen used to be a corner. They converted him to safety. Now he's moving him back to
Yeah,
corner.
we can't do that again.
But I think they've done it because of his speed. He's like one of the faster DBs that they have. So, we lost a lot of speed with Ronald Darby. So I guess
I think we should go at their weak point, Dante. Like they lost their number one safety. We have speed to go over the top. I think we should go over the top. We should go at the deep ball. Torrey Smith had an opportunity to catch the deep ball last week. We just missed him. I think we should attack the deep ball.
Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight. Due to some technical difficulties, our video was cut short. So it was okay because we were almost at the end of the show anyway. So I'll just give you a brief rundown of what we covered in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Number one, Shell thought it was he thought that we were going to win. The Eagles are going to win. He predicted the score to be 27-23. Pat also thinks the Eagles are going to win, and he thinks that the Eagles will score in the 30s, 31-24. Now that's amazing. Me, as always, I do think that the Eagles will pull it out. I think it'll be a tough game. I think we shake up the world. We shock the world this week. The Chiefs only lose 2-point-something games a year under Andy Reid. And guess what? I think one of those losses this year is going to be to our Philadelphia Eagles. So tune in on Sunday. And don't forget, go to our Facebook page, Eagles Talk on Facebook, and like the page. We need as many likes as we can get. Also go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Eagles Talk, and you can watch all of our material there. And this Sunday, we'll be doing Eagles Talk post-game live from Philadelphia, the Pyramid Temple at 1428 West Girard Avenue. The Pyramid Temple, Masons, Masonic, is, like a secret society. The only thing I know is like the Flintstones and the Water Buffaloes. That's all I know about the Masons. But just join us down there if you want to have some good time, watch the game, and enjoy us as we broadcast live from Philadelphia, the Pyramid Temple, 1428 West Girard Avenue. Yo, we're out. We'll see you later. Peace.